How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to an episode here on Let's Build Twitter. As always, I'm Ethan, a running coder, your favorite underqualified senior software engineer. And as always, if you guys don't access that private repository, there's a link in the description down below that'll walk you through exactly how to get access to that. Now, today, this episode and the next two episodes may be a little bit finicky. It might be a little bit of work to get things working because I did a big chunk of work and kind of split it up into multiple episodes because I was kind of on a roll and just wanting to get stuff done. So I might need to go ahead and make this episode a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, just gonna move stuff around to make it work. I think I have a pretty good plan, and the other issue is that the way that this all worked out and broke out, there's some changes that need to be made, but they're not till the next episode. Hopefully I don't miss anything, so there might be a little bit of debugging either in this episode, next episode, or even a little bit farther on. But with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into what we're working on today. Today we're gonna go ahead and continue working on whenever we react to a message. So if we go ahead and make a heart reaction, whenever you click on this guy, it should either pop up or pop down a little icon or a little pop-up that says exactly who did this. When you go ahead and calculate to see if there's enough space to pop it down at the bottom, and then if there's not, when you pop it up versus down, then it's going to go ahead and list out all of the people. So we also probably want to go ahead and make a couple more reactions. So I'm going to go ahead and react a couple more times on Postman. Then we'll go ahead and hop into the code and get to work here. I chose the wrong heart on accident, but as you can see, we have 3 reactions here. I wanted to do the same reaction as the one I had. There must be a slightly different heart, but I digress. Let's go and hop in the code and get to work here. Today we're going to be starting out inside of our global interfaces because we made a typo down here on our reaction interface. Let's just scroll down until we find reaction. Inside reaction, you can see we put string as an uppercase. This actually needs to be a lowercase. This caused some issues down the road. Let's go ahead and fix that up. So now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and hop into our message reaction container and actually set up all the code to make it so we can make this pop-up that displays who did what. There's going to be quite a bit of work in here, so I'm gonna hopefully not forget anything, but I'm going to go ahead and go below this const grouped reactions and go ahead and add some more states. We're going to have a const display pop-up and set display pop-up is equal to use state. Whoops. And this will be a boolean. And then to start out, this will be set to false. Also going to go ahead and have a const dispatch. And then here, this is going to be an app dispatch equal to use dispatch. If I could type like so, that way we can go ahead and dispatch some things. And then we're going to go ahead and have a const reaction container ref is equal to use ref. Bring that in. This will be an HTML div element. Whoops. And this is going to go ahead and help us determine whether or not we have enough space to actually pop this up or down. We're also going to have a const watcher ref, maybe, is equal to use ref. And then once again, this will be an HTML div element, and at this point I probably should have like a hook or something that's called like use watcher or something, and then pass in the ref. That way we can know when we're actually clicking outside of something, but it is what it is. But again, we need some way to close this without actually clicking specifically inside of the container that we were inside of to close it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set up the watcher ref again. We're gonna go ahead and set up a little bit of utility function. Actually, first gonna go ahead and say const navigate is equal to use navigate, and then we're going to go ahead and set up a little bit of utility function. This is something else that could probably be in a util, but it is what it is. Users message, go ahead and we're just going to go ahead and return message.sentBy.user ID is equal to logged in user ID. Again, this is something that we could pass to the message in the user in and make this a utility, but it is what it is. So that is good to go. Now we're going to go ahead and make a new function to determine the styling for our pop-up. So we're going to say const get pop-up style. And this is basically going to determine whether or not we have enough space and then set where it's actually located on the screen. So we're going to go ahead and say if our reaction, and I did not spell reaction right, reaction container ref, and our reaction container ref dot current. Thank you, TypeScript. I love doing that. We're going to say const flip is equal to window dot inner height minus reaction container ref, whoops, dot current dot get bounding client rectangle dot bottom is less than 195. So it's less than 195 pixels between the bottom of our container ref and the window. We're going to go ahead and add to flip that. Then we're going to go ahead and say const, and we're just going to break this apart. Top, whoops, top, left, right, bottom. equal to reaction container ref.current.get client bounding box, just to go ahead and make ours a little bit easier. So now we're going to say const distance to bottom is equal to window, dot inner height. If I could type, that'd be cool, minus bottom. And we could have probably used this distance to bottom instead of duplicating at the top, but it is what it is. So now if we have flip, we're going to go ahead and return an object. And then here, we're going to go ahead and have bottom, colon, backticks, $ curly brace. This is going to say distance to bottom and then plus 40 px, because this is what looked good to me. And then we're also going to go ahead and have left and then colon, we're going to call users message. And then if it's users message, so we're going to have backticks, $ curly brace, right, minus 325 px. Otherwise, we're going to have backticks, $ curly brace, and it's going to be left, minus 162 px. And hopefully this still all looks good. It looked good whenever I did it before, but things could change. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and return. And this time we're going to have top is colon, backticks, $ curly brace, and this is going to be bottom. Whoops, I clicked on something. There we go, plus 8 px. And then we're going to go ahead and have left colon, $ curly brace, and this is going to be actually first we need to say users message, and then we can say question mark, backticks, $ curly brace, and then we'll have right minus, it's going to be the same thing, 325 px. Otherwise, backticks, $ curly brace, we're going to have left minus 162, and then it's going to be the same px. And then otherwise at the very bottom, if nothing, we're going to go ahead and return. That way we at least have something. We'll just have a margin on the top of 0 and a margin on the left of 0. And actually what I go ahead and do on this is put 0 px, so 0 px and 0 px, but this is just so we have something to return. It doesn't really matter, so that is good to go there. Now we need to go ahead and just set up a couple more things here. Next we're going to say const navigate to user profile. This is something else that should just be a hook at this point, but it is what it is. Go ahead and pass the react.mouse event, mouse event, and then this will be on an HTML div element like so. And then let's go ahead and make this. So here e.stop propagation, just to be safe. I don't know if it's going to do anything. But then we're going to go ahead and navigate and make sure we do navigate correct. This is going to be backticks / $ curly break, and this is going to be e.current target dot, and then there's going to be ID. We're going to go ahead and set like the ID as the user's name, and then that way we can go ahead and navigate to the profile that way. Okay, we should have just like a couple more things here. Next, we just need to go ahead and set up our undo reaction, because whenever we actually go into that, it's going to give you the option to undo if it's your message. So const undo reaction, is equal to, and again, this is going to be an e react.mouse event on an HTML, and then div element like so, and create our arrow function e.stop propagation. Okay, and then we're going to say if they are logged in and we have a token, which I think that we have in here, but I don't remember. Let's just double check. Did we bring in token? I might have missed this. Let's see, logged in. Nope, we don't have token. So let's go ahead and bring in token as well. That's easy enough. Now from here, we'll go ahead and say const reaction, equal to message.reactions.filter. And we're going to say r for reaction, then r.reaction user.user ID is equal to logged in. There's a moth in here. Get out of here, dude. User ID. And then we're going to go ahead and get the first one because there should only ever be one. And logged in is set, so that should be fine. We're going to go ahead and dispatch. And we're going to go ahead and dispatch a react to message like so. And then inside we need the user, which will be logged in. We need the message, which will be message. Could just shorten that, but it's we need reaction, which is reaction.reaction, because we're going to go ahead and undo the message. We want to send the same reaction. Go ahead and pass in the token. And then finally, we want to go ahead and close this. So we're going to go ahead and say set display pop-up to false after we have done that. Next, we need to go ahead and do the handle click outside. So last thing, const handle click outside. And then here, this will be equal to e:any. And then let's go ahead and create our arrow function. And here we'll say if our watcher ref and our watcher ref dot current. And we're going to say and our not watcher ref dot current dot contains, and then e dot target. Okay, and then here this is going to go ahead and say set display pop-up to false. Let me just double check that this is what we want again. Make sure I actually say if, that also help. I believe this is right. If watchRef and watchRef.current and not watchRef.current.contains e.target, that should be fine. So now we're going to go ahead and have to set up our use effect. I think I create a whole new use effect. So I'm just going to go here, use effect like so. And this is going to go ahead and watch our watcher ref like that. And then here we're going to say document dot add event listener, and inside here we're going to go ahead and add a mouse down, mouse down, and we're going to pass it handle like a type handle click outside. And then we're going to go ahead and return our arrow function. And inside here we're going to go ahead and document dot remove event listener on our mouse down, and we'll go ahead and remove that handle click outside. So that can go ahead and open and close that. This has been a lot of work already, so I'm not sure we're gonna get as much done as I had planned on this episode, but it is what it is. So now we need to go ahead and set up our watcher ref and everything. So here on our message reaction container, we're gonna go ahead and say ref is equal to, and we're gonna go ahead and pass our watcher ref. Actually, this one is going to be our reaction container ref. We put the watcher ref on the other one. We're also going to go ahead and set up an on click, and then on the on click, we're just going to go ahead and set display pop up to true. So set display pop up. Whoops. Let me go ahead and try this again. Set display pop up. Oh my goodness, I cannot do this. Maybe pop up to true. So whenever we click on it, we'll go ahead and display that pop up. And then we're going to go ahead and go, I believe it's below here. It says line 129, but that's going to be outside of our return. I believe it's just right here. And I can double check this in a second, but we're going to go ahead and say display and then pop up like so. And then in here, and I'm actually going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit. I'm going to put this at the top just because I like the look of it a little bit better. I have a div, the class name equal to, and this will be message dash reactions dash pop up. It's going to have a style equal to, and this is going to be get pop-up style. We're going to go ahead and call that, and that'll return that object, and then a ref equal to watcher ref. That way we can go ahead and close this. So let me just go ahead and double check and make sure this is where I actually want this to be. And then as long as this is where I want it to be, we're going to go ahead and continue. It looks good. So we can go ahead and continue with the body here. So now we're going to go ahead and say reactions.map, and then we're going to go ahead and map each reaction and the index. We're going to go ahead and return some stuff. So we're going to go ahead and return. First, we need to go ahead and say const is last is equal to idx equal to reactions.length -1. I don't remember why we need this, but we'll find out in a second. We're going to go ahead and return and then set up a return here. We have a div with a class name equal to. Actually, I guess we don't have a class name, or do we? We do, but I kind of did this backwards. We're going to have a style equal to, and then this is a little bit gross. So here we're going to say border bottom. This is where is last comes from, is last and question mark. So if that's the case, it's going to be none. Otherwise, we're going to have 1px solid, and then pound and e1, e8, ed. So we only want a border bottom if it's not the last one. So that's why we have that. And this is going to have message dash reactions, pop up dash card, and then finally ID is going to be equal to, and then we scroll over here. I can't quite see it on my other monitor. So now we have ID is equal to reaction dot reaction, reaction, if I could type, user dot user name, and then we're going to have an on click equal to navigate to profile. I think says navigate to user profile. Excuse me. Let me double check if that's what I called it, because I think that's slightly different. I might have called it something else. Yes, it is what it is. Okay. I'm also going to go and clean this up a little bit. This is pretty gross. So let's go ahead and break apart this div a little bit, or not break it apart, but clean it up, and I'll be right back. Okay. So now after this div, we can continue here. Next, we'll have an image. So img, the class name equal to, and this will be message dash reaction dash, and this is an S, reaction dash popup dash reaction. So it's going to be the actual emoji. So src, maybe src is going to be equal to get emoji image by asking. We're going to go ahead and put in, reaction dot reaction, like so. And then we'll go ahead and have an alt equal to, and this is going to be pop up reaction, like so. That's good to go. And then we're going to go ahead and have a profile picture. And then this is going to have the user will be equal to reaction dot reaction user. And then the size is going to equal to, broke that, equal to 40px, like so. And that's good to go. I have a div with a class name equal to, and this is going to be message dash reactions dash popup dash, and then this one is going to be profile dash group. Inside of a profile group, we're going to have a couple of things. So here we're going to have a h3, so h3 class name equal to message dash reactions dash popup dash nickname. And then here we're just going to go ahead and have reaction user dot nickname, and we'll also have a p tag in here. So p, the class name equal to message dash reactions dash popup dash username. And then in here we'll have our @ symbol, and then curly braces is going to be reaction dot reaction user dot username. So that is good to go there. Under this, we just need to do one more thing. The reaction dot reaction user dot user ID is equal to logged in dot user ID. If this is the case, we want to do something slightly different. We want to show the undo. So if the reaction user is us, we're going to have in p class name equal to message dash reactions dash popup dash undo, like so. And then here we can go and do that. On click is going to be equal to undo reaction, and then this is just simply going to say undo. So that is the work in here. We broke something inside this guy. So h3 class name, let's see what's going on with this guy. Reaction dot reaction user dot nickname. I don't know what's wrong with this. Let me investigate for a second. I accidentally opened something up there. That fixed it. So that should do our pop-up. Now I just have to do the CSS, get it in there, and then I'm probably not going to get as much work done as I thought on some other stuff, but it's fine. I'll just kind of move it to another area. So and actually we're about done anyway, so it's okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and get into the CSS, get this done, and wrap up this episode. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and put this at the bottom, and hopefully I haven't typed anything. I probably have. We're gonna say message reactions, and that's already a concern because the other one is message reaction, is message reaction. So we'll see message reactions pop up. On here we have a width of 325 pixels. We're gonna have a height of fit dash content. We're going to have a max dash height of 219px, which is about 3 of the little blocks. So then if we get past 3, we'll start scrolling basically. Of a padding of about 12px and 0, and a background dash color of white. Since the pop-up we don't want to be see-through. We're gonna have a border of none. We're gonna have a border dash radius of 12px. We're gonna have a box dash shadow, and this is going to be RGBA, and this will be 0, 0, 0, and then 0.2, and here we'll do 0px, 0px, and 5px, and 15px. Would have been nice to save that in a variable somewhere, but it's fine. Position is going to be fixed, so we can go ahead and put it on top of everything. We're just going to go ahead and set a z index to 200. It's pretty arbitrary. We just want it higher than everything else. Overflow will be hidden. Whoops. And our overflow -y will be auto. So if we start overflowing and the height, will go ahead and scroll. Next, we'll go ahead and do the pop-up card dot message dash reactions dash popup. Whoops. Dash card. Hopefully I set this up. And here we'll have a height of 65 px. We're going to go ahead and have a width of 100%. We're going to have a padding of 12 px and then 16 px, and a display of flex. We'll have justify content, and this will be flex dash start. And we're going to have an align dash items in the center, and finally have a z dash index of 300. I don't think we needed this. I think we were just having a weird issue before, so that can probably be deleted, but it is what it is. Message dash reactions dash popup dash card colon hover. So our hover, we're gonna have a cursor, maybe a pointer, and we're gonna have a background color. If I could type, that'd be cool. Can't type. Background dash color of RGBA. I think I do 0.1 on this one. Dot message dash reactions dash popup dash reaction. So our actual reaction width will be 28 px. Our height will be 28 px. We're gonna have a margin, whoops, margin on the right of about 16 px. Next, we'll have our dot message dash reactions dash popup dash, and this is going to be profile, whoops, dash group. This is also pretty simple. Here we're just going to take up 100% width 100% of a height to fit dash content. We're going to overflow of hidden if we have like a long name or something, and then whoops, we're going to go ahead and have a margin on the left of about 4 px and a margin on the right of about 4 px. Could have just done a gap here, but it's besides the fact. Now we have our dot message dash reaction dash popup and then dash nickname, whoops, nickname, and here we're going to go ahead and set margin and padding to 0. So imagine margin 0, padding 0, and then we're going to have a text dash overflow. It's going to be on set. We're going to have a font dash size of 15 px and a color of black, and then font dash weight will be 800. So here the overflows container is going to hide it basically. Dot message dash reactions dash whoops popup, excuse me, dash username. This will be similar. Margin will be 0. Our padding will be 0. And then once again, we'll have text overflow to unset. Now a font dash size of 15 px, 15 px, not 1 px. And then a color will be slightly different. Pound, this will be 657786, our like dark gray color. Then this one's going to have a font weight of 400. Almost done here. So now we just need to go ahead and deal with the undo and the undo hover. Dot message dash reactions dash popup dash undo. And here we'll have a width of fit dash content. We're going to have a height of 32 px. Border will be none. We're going to have border dash radius of 16 px to get those rounded edges. Color is going to be Twitter blue, so pound 1D, and then a 1 F2 like so. And then we're going to have a margin of 0. We're going to have a padding of 0 and 16 px. We're going to have a font dash size of 14 px. And then we're going to have a font dash, whoops, not don't. I could type font, oh my goodness, dash weight. And this is going to be of 600. And then finally display flex will justify content in the center and align items. I could type, that'd be cool. In the center. like so. And then finally .message-reactions popup -undo. And then here we're going to go ahead and have a background -color. This one's going to be RGBA, and it's going to be Twitter blue. So 29,161, 242. I know I have some typos somewhere where I put like 141, so I need to go back and find that, but it is what it is. 0.15. And finally I have a cursor pointer, and that should basically do it for our CSS. Now that doesn't mean that we didn't break anything or mess anything up, so we're gonna have to probably go back through, just double check everything. But we need to do one more thing before we actually get into this. I noticed whenever we are inside of the front end, whenever you actually in a group message, it's displaying the first person's name. We don't want to go ahead and display that. We only want to display that person's profile card if it's a single person in the conversation with us. Let's go ahead and go into our conversation container and fix that. So inside of our conversation container, we're gonna scroll down to about line 47. So about, let's see here, about here. So this conversation user info, we don't want to display this all the time. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this inside of curly braces like so. Let me go ahead and wrap it like that. And then we're going to go ahead and say, we're going to say conversation, whoops, maybe conversation state. And I don't know how I keep deleting everything. Conversation state. And then this is going to be conversation, whoops. Conversation state, there we go. Conversation users length is less than 3. So if there's less than 3 people in the conversation, aka there's only 2 people in the conversation, then we'll go ahead and show the conversation user info. Otherwise, if it's a group conversation, we won't. And with this logic, we need to go and update some CSS inside the conversation container. So inside of our conversation container, we actually need to have a minimum height now, and this is going to get changed again, unfortunately, but this is at least going to fix it for now. We're going to say min height is going to be 375 px, and that'll go ahead and fill up the rest of the space. That way there's always a scroll bar and it looks good. So now let's go ahead and have our fingers crossed and hope everything wants to work properly. So let's hop back into the front end, do our debugging, and then wrap up the episode. So here on the front end, you can go ahead and see we have this. And this guy's broken. We're going to spend a significant amount of time, either in the next episode or the episode after that, fixing this guy from breaking. You can also see we do not have the profile card anymore, and we can still have the scroll bar and everything looks fine. So now fingers crossed, if we click on this, it should pop up something. You can see we have the pop-up, and this looks pretty good. We have our undo. This should be hover, so we can go ahead and fix that really quick. But you can see that we have these guys. This is supposed to be the red heart, but I chose the wrong one, so that's a problem there. We click on these, it goes to the person's profile, so it looks good. The only thing that we need to test is the undo. But before we test the undo, let's go ahead and let's see if clicking off it works. It does, great. And then now let's go ahead and get the hover to work properly. But if the hover is the only thing that is broken, that's pretty good. The other thing that kind of annoys me is the fact that you can still see, like, whenever you hover over this like this, I don't think there's much we can do about that, so it is what it is. It also seems like this gap is a little bit weird, but it might also just because of the way this emoji is, it's kind of broken, but I digress. So let's hop back into the front end really quick, make sure we put a hover on this, and then let's test the undo, and we'll wrap up the episode. So instead of just having pop-up undo, we want to go ahead and make sure we have a hover on this. That looks good. And let's go and hop in, just take one more look and make sure the undo wants to work. And you can see whenever we hover over, it says undo. If we click on this guy, it takes it away. We can go ahead and add a new one. So we come up here, we can go ahead and add, like, I don't know, this face. It comes back, we click on it, and it's back. So that's looking good. That's the last bit of work we need to do to get reactions working. Next episode, we'll get it so that whenever we hover over this, it's actually going to go ahead and be centered on the message rather than in here. And that's going to take a little bit of finicky work. And then I don't remember exactly what else we go through in the next episode, but we're going to work on that. We're also going to go ahead and work on a couple other things. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Everything helps out here with the YouTube algorithm. If you guys do want to see we start from absolute scratch to get to the point we are now, the end screen is going to go ahead and have the playlist as every single episode. So as always, everyone, hope you did enjoy. This has been Ethan Coder. I'll see you all in the next video.